This is the Inland Empire Sports Report. I am your host, Coach B, and we're broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios here on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we are streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. I'm pretty excited about this. As you all know, I was in the Inland Empire for 10 years. Even though I'm sitting right now in Palm Springs, I still have a heart for the Inland Empire, and I always want to see what's going on out there. Big news, if you don't know, I'm happy to say this. Coach, I don't know if your first interview after the big news, but you have made the change, the transition. You are now at, I'm going to say the legitimate name, Arrowhead Christian Academy, also known as ACA. We have Coach Lawrence with us and have a couple of players. How is it going, Coach? How are you?
It's going good, man. You know, we caught us right in the heap of practice, and so we're ready to go. I'm excited to be here, and I see the potential in these boys, and so I was salivating to just get here and get it going. So it's good to be here.
Absolutely. And ACA is one of those sleeping giants. I mean, they're located in a really good area over in Redlands. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of exciting things. Your first year and being the top guy, I always like to ask this of coaches, were there things that you weren't ready for? Because a lot of times, now you're ordering the jerseys, you're ordering the helmets, you're making sure the practice facility is set up. Whereas if you're a position coach or an assistant coach, you're just showing up and taking your skill players and that's it. But now you've got to do everything. You've got to work with the parents, the booster program. How's that transition been for you, Coach?
Yes, man. As far as like the ordering stuff, that was something that was different. Being a defensive line coach at Western Christian for 4 years, all of my responsibility was in the field. Now I took it upon myself to build a relationship with parents because I always had aspirations and desires to be a head coach. And so I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. And so I tried to challenge myself to be uncomfortable. I would always ask questions to the head coaches that I've had and just see how to pick their brain on how it would move. But you already know, there's nothing like once you're in it and once you're doing it. And so it has been a shock to me. But honestly, it's just allowed me to, be uncomfortable and be comfortable with that change.
And tell me a little bit about who you brought over, your staff, any key members you have. Or are you still building that out? Because this is your first week at the helm, correct?
Yeah, so this is our first official summer practice. We started spring ball already. But when I tell you that I have been so blessed with my coaching staff, it has been awesome. There is one person that I brought over. It was kind of cool because he was my center his junior and senior year at Western. And then last year, when we went 12-0, he was our offensive line assistant coach. And we built such a great relationship that once I got the call that I got the job, he told me, Coach, I'm coming with you whether you like it or not. And so it was good to bring him over. We made him the offensive line and the offensive coordinator. And then I have in Augustin Mendez, who came from Rubidoux, and he's our quarterback coach and our JV head coach. And then Elijah Ramirez, he came out of Arroyo Valley. I think he did the defensive line out there. Joshua Solis, who's our linebacker coach, he played at the University of Redlands. And then I have another wide receiver coach, Tyler Riley, who played at Grambling. He played receiver. I think he's about 6'8", maybe. Some of the boys thought he was a recruit when he came on campus. And then I have Donovan Campbell, who played defensive back at San Bernardino Valley College. And then we still went home and we brought in Jim Willard, who is the chaplain here. He's also one of our defensive assistants here for the school. And so it's been great. The culture is changing, and the guys are at the helm. And I have a young staff, but I have a hungry and they want to prove themselves, and I'm all about that.
And that's got to be awesome. And Coach, like you said, this is what you prayed for. I've known you a couple of years. And one thing that I respect about you is the fact that you're always looking to get student athletes, period, better. We had a good chat at the Coachella Showcase a couple of years back, and you were out there working with the line and putting in that time and effort. And these weren't kids that you coach. You were out there getting your skills sharp, and you're coaching kids up. Where did that passion for football come from, Coach?
Man, I had to learn off the cuff. I had to learn from people around me. And so when I got this responsibility of starting my own business In fact, Rob from Rare Breed, who's one of our local trainers in the Inland Empire the past decade, he told me, like, never refuse people, bring kids in. And then honestly, the heart for it, like, I want to be for those that I lacked in. Like, people, things that I didn't have, I wanted to give that to other kids. So if they didn't have a father growing up, I want to be that. If they didn't have an older brother, I want to be that. If I have any sort of knowledge that I can pass down to the next generation, I want to do it. I'm not looking for anything in return other than hard work and for, you know, great citizens to come out of it. And so it's nothing to pass down knowledge, and when I die, I don't want to take the knowledge with me. So I want to pour everything I can into the next generation.
And that's awesome, Coach. You have big challenges ahead. It's going to be an interesting season, because usually when you join a team, they're in a league that's established and been around a while, and you have some foes, and you're thinking, okay, this is who we're going to go against. These are who our rivals are. But in the Cottonwood League, it's going to be a brand new league, and I have my notes here. We have Webb, we have Western Christian, Vasquez, Riverside Prep, which is in the high desert, and then you have Notre Dame, ACA. You guys are all going to be a part of that new Cottonwood League. So that's got to be exciting to know that you can go in with a fresh start, and anyone can take the helm of that league. How excited are you about that, Coach?
I'm excited for it. I'm actually, being at Western so long, I'm actually familiar with, 3 of them. And so we've played Riverside Prep, Whittier Christian, and Notre Dame. Webb, they're in the city that I live in, so I was able to get used to the culture. But you know how it is. Everyone there doesn't know what we're doing. We don't know what they're doing. So it really comes down to football IQ, how well you coach, and the boys that are buying into it. So I don't see anybody that can take it by storm. Do I believe we will? Absolutely. My goal is to beat the bricks off of anybody that comes onto the gridiron. But we're open. We know that it's going to be a challenge. We know that it's going to be tough. But I think it's a great way to start something great, and to start this new chapter, new school, new league, and just to see where we stand. I like the feel for it. I think it's
right. Go be great. And you're talking about your young men that are going to buy into it. You got 2 of your studs with you. Tell me a little bit about these young men and what made them so special. Number 0, we got Warren Ryan. And then number 2, we got Luke Martinez. They're wide receivers and DBs. And what was about these 2 young men? I know you're still new on campus. You're still figuring it out. But what was it about these 2 young men that stood out to you and said, hey, we're going to do this podcast. Let me go ahead and bring these young men in.
Yeah. I'm big on character, and I'm big on like how you carry yourself. And I also like, I like athletes. I like people who can go. First thing I noticed with Warren was the confidence and the attitude what he brought to the field. He's tall, and he can go up for the ball, and he can make things happen. And so I like that challenge. I like the fact that we have somebody who's young. He's going to be going into his sophomore year. Yeah. And he's a basketball player, so he kills it on the boards. And just to see him out there, a 2-sport athlete, I can really see a lot of promise in him. I don't think there's anybody that can touch him when it comes to, playing the one-on-one ball. And so bringing him in, once you guys asked us to do this, I had to think about who can I have out there that really represents what we're trying to have, and he was one of them. And then Luke, you got to have receivers that have a little chip on their shoulder and that have a little bit of grind and grit to them and a little bit of swag, but they back it up. That's what I've noticed from Luke. Came in super humble. He came ready to work. These 2 were going to play football regardless of who was coaching them. So they were going to be there. They didn't come because I, sweet talked them on my resume or what I said. They showed up. They were ready to work. And so knowing that this was going to happen, knowing that the eyes were going to be on us, I want the eyes on them because I believe they can, they can rise to the challenge. They can feel that pressure and they won't crumble. They'll rise to it. So these 2 are phenomenal athletes.
And that's awesome. And, one thing I'll ask Warren, the basketball guy, and when you talk about crumble, this is something, I know it's not about football, but Warren, did San Antonio, did they crumble yesterday? They were the largest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals. You're a basketball guy, so tell me a little bit about that. Can you believe that comeback with the Knicks getting that win? I can.
I believed it. I always thought New York was going to win, but I can't believe San Antonio went down like that. 29 points, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I know a young man I know you're not going to let that happen. I know there's no way that's happening on your watch at ACA. I know that. But tell me a little bit about you're a sophomore and you're going into a new season. I know with a new coach, a new perspective. How excited are you about going into this new league? And it's, it's wide open for you guys to take control of this league.
It's great. Got a great coaching staff, brothers all around us that are going to build us up to go win this league and try to win as many games as we can this year.
Yes. And then, Luke, I'll ask you the same thing. What are you most excited about going into this season and getting ready to dominate?
I'm most excited for a fresh start. It was rough last year, and I'm just very thankful that God could bring us these amazing coaches, Diamond Lawrence. And I'm glad that, it's a young team, but I'm glad that I get the ability to lead them to possibly be pretty good.
Right. And being an underclassman and being, a younger team, do you think that's something, if you guys can stick together, as you guys will be the foundation of what could be something special at ACA to turn that program around and make it a winning culture?
Yeah, I think we could do that.
And Coach said you have a chip on your shoulder. Where'd you get that from? You got that dog in you? I love it. What are you doing this summer to get better? Is there anything in particular? Either one of you can answer this. Is there anything that you guys are doing in particular to get better? I know you guys. A lot of times they say what you do in the dark when no one sees is what comes out when it's game time. So what are you guys doing special? You don't have to give away your secrets. I don't want Coach to get upset. No bulletin board material. But what are you guys doing to get ready for this upcoming season?
Yeah, it really is what you do behind the scenes, like how hard you're going to work. So training off and on the field, and just staying healthy, working out, eating the right food, just doing what's right to prepare you for the game.
And how about you, Warren?
We just try to do everything at full speed, at our game time speed, so we can be able to adapt.
Excellent. And Coach, is there anything in particular that you felt that you needed to change or you needed to turn around or get it? Because you guys, these are some sharp young men you've got there, and you can see the future is bright at ACA.
Yeah, when you're an assistant coach, you're able to pull from different people. I had Thomas Fleming my first year as a coach, who was real personable with his staff. I had Coach Donald Martin, who led spiritually, but also was a defensive-minded coach. And then we had Coach Hoekstra this past year that was old school, wing T offense type coach.
Oh, wow. Wing T.
And so I was able to pull a lot of that stuff, but ultimately, now that I'm the head coach, I can kind of mold it the way I see it. And, I go to clinics all the time and pull from coaches. And one thing that I wanted to bring here was the model of be a pro. And I got that from Coach Jed Fish out in the University of Washington. And it was purposeful, resilient, and original. And just knowing that we can do that and we can set a foundation of being a football team that is purposeful, that is resilient to overcome challenges, and that is original because we're created to be original. And so being a pro, that's how we carry ourselves when you're in college. That's how you carry yourselves in the league. And so we want to build that here. They have all the resources here. You said it earlier. Redlands is in a hot spot. It's in a great area. I think it's really unknown. And it's a Christian school. It's a private school, so people kind of have their own notion of it. But we're here to change it. We want to make ACA a destination school. Like, if you want to not just go to college and play ball, or go to college and get a good degree and let ball just take you there, or if you're looking just to come and be a different person, a stronger man, that's what we're here to do. We use football as the platform to do all of those things. And so I really wanted to bring that and instill a grit. And this, you'll love this one, but I'm an old school football player. I want to smack somebody in the mouth and take claim. Like, I'll pray with you. We pray afterwards. Like, I want to take your head off, You know how it is. Brian Dawkins, Ray Lewis, Palomalu, Urlacher, all those guys that I look to when I watch the game of football. That's where I'm trying to instill in the DNA of it. And so it goes off of how we run our defense. We're running a 4-2-5 defense. We're going to be smash mouth. Our offense is going to complement the defense, not the other way around. We're going to run the ball, and people are going to know we're going to run it, and we're going to make sure they can't stop it. And then we're going to kill you with the pass game with these two guys here and make sure that it works and works well. But ultimately, it's going to be something that is going to shake the culture of the city. Like, we want everyone, not just our competition, but we want everyone, even people like you that we respect. We want you guys to take notice of what we're doing. And it has nothing to do with me. I want this school to grow even beyond me. You know, I got aspirations, and I'm welcoming my daughter in the next month, you know, first time father. And so, you know, God is really moving stuff up. So even if I can't be here, I want the coaching staff to run it a certain way. You know you're a great leader when you're gone, and people still run it the way you're supposed to. And so I really try really hard to be a servant to my staff, so that when I'm gone, they can still love these boys and grow these boys and keep it moving.
And that's awesome. You know, you bring up a good point. How's the wife doing? I know we're on. I appreciate you doing this. I know we're on baby watch.
Yeah.
But how's everything going with the wife?
She's doing good. You know, I tell the boys I'm a one God, one woman man, and so what I do here, I do it here, and then when I go home, I can't be coach at home. You know, I can't blow the whistle at my wife. So when I'm there, she's holding the house down still. She's healthy. She's strong. Our daughter, who we named her Amelia, she's strong. She might come a little early, but that's okay. We bring her to practice earlier. So she's doing good. She might be here within 2 weeks. So I'm glad you wanted to do this now. And so I don't want to get the call right now that we got to head out. But no, it's exciting. Now I'm looking forward to a lot of new things. And this all plays together because we coach together. We love the boys together. And now, you know, my family is starting on both ends, on the field and off.
And that's awesome. My wife and I, we have 3 kids, and just remember, chipped ice. Always, that's all you could do. You have to have the chipped ice ready so that you can continue to give it to your wife. That's our only job, is to make sure that they have a nice supply of chipped ice so they can have that, because that's all they can drink as they're going along the process. But, you know, you've done it before, Coach. I remember before ACA, like you said, before Fleming's really got in there, got a hold of it, and then Martin. You know, ACA was Western Christian was a school that people wanted to make sure they scheduled for their homecoming night. But I know that's one of those things that you're looking to change that culture at ACA. Do you think because you've done this before and you've seen it happen, you have the blueprint, you know this is what we need to do, this is the foundation?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, football is the same game regardless of where you go. Every coach says the same thing. We're going to be the strongest, fastest, toughest. We're going to work harder. It's who buys into it. That's it. And so I'm a personable coach. I understand being a former player. I know what it's like to be on that field, giving it your all and maybe not getting the results you want. So the fact that the boys buy into that and they understand, I think we can take it by the helm. It took a while. I know Western wasn't known to have a strong line, and then by their 4th year, they're known as the team that had the offensive defensive line, and that was because the boys put in the work. And so I think here, are we looking for a CIF ring this year? Why not? We gonna search for it. We got some seniors that deserve it, but we're also, with our eye going forward, we want to build a solid program for the years to come. Like 10 years from now, when these guys are playing in the league and they come back, we want to let them be proud of where they came from. We want this jersey to represent something more than football. We want it not to be ashamed to wear it. We want it to be proud.
And that's awesome. And Warren and Luke, you know, when your coach speaks that way and he talks about the future in building and being great, how exciting is that for you guys both to be a part of this on the ground floor and see your coach get to work?
You know, it makes me really excited. Just know that I have a coach that's got my back at all times like that, and that's really like happy and ready to rebuild.
Yeah, and how about you, Warren?
I mean, it makes me extremely excited that we're just going to be the foundation of what he's going to build after we graduate, and even now what we're building together.
Yeah, and with you just being a sophomore, you've got plenty. You're going into your sophomore year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a freshman now, so you've got plenty of time to go. And what has been the tone been like out there in practice when you guys are doing it? Do you guys see the energy? And you know, your coaches, remember your coach is there, so you know, just want to let you know. Do you guys see the excitement? Do you see the energy? Do you see the change that is coming for your team?
Yeah, I definitely see more of them paying attention. You know, being a leader, and I definitely see them like start listening. Like today, telling them to watch the ball while catching. That was big because there was 0 dropped balls the next like 20, 30 routes. So.
Right. And you being a receiver, that's so important for you guys to set the tone. Is that something that you guys are holding each other accountable now? It's like, let's focus, let's lock in. Is that what you're telling your teammates?
For sure. We're trying to lead to the best of our ability.
And that's awesome. I love it, what you guys are doing. It sounds like you've got some young players that are really locked in and ready to go. Are there any other players out there that have impressed you that maybe couldn't make the interview, or anyone else that you were just thinking, or is there a group, maybe the defensive line or anything that's just, you're like, I'm glad these are some ACA athletes?
Yeah, you always know you want to have people you go to war with, not against. I'm shocked on how they harry themselves now. Like, I'm like, all right, I did a wise decision bringing them in. So, but they're solid. And then, when I got the job, the one thing, in my prayer closet, what I prayed for is I wanted a line. I can care less. Not to say I don't care for the skills and the quarterback, running back, but I know that when you start from rebuild and you start from the ball out and it's strong, then you have more leeway. These guys can get open. They don't have to hurry up and rush their routes because the line is holding their job. And so I prayed for linemen. I think we got some hidden gems here. We have a senior, Jacob, who y'all call Boo Boo. I don't know why they call him that, but Jacob is like, he's a country strong, lineman. He's a guard. He can hit you hard. We also have another kid that was walking around the locker room that never played ball, Bradley, who is built like Brock Lesnar. He's just a solid corn-fed guy, and he likes to hit people. And then I also got some other skill guys that were here. We have a lot of running backs. I don't know what it's going to look like, but my goal is 250 rush, 250 pass, and hold everybody down for 150 every game. So I think we have the players to do it. We have a lot of speed. Micah, who, a lot of these guys are two-sport athletes. And so they do, Luke does track, he does basketball. Micah, he's our football player, but he ran a 4.3 40.
Oh my.
And track. And he ran it when we tested him. He's a fast individual, plays safety, he might play corner, might get the ball to him in slot. We don't know. But he is another athlete. He's not a senior, but he's really setting the pace for what we're going to do here.
And that's awesome, because I know what I think I ran a 4.6 in high school, but that was a 20-yard dash. So that was the only problem with it. So I was a little bit slow, but that's awesome when you think about that, Coach. And when don't laugh at me. Try to keep it to yourself. I'm a Chargers fan. Our favorite saying is "There's always next year." But when you look at bully ball and you look at Harbaugh, his first year coming in, he picked a lineman. And that's what he wanted, because he wants to play that bully ball. So just why is it so important for anyone who's a football novice? Why is that line so important? Because I always say without a line, you can't do anything. But why is that line so important to you, Coach?
Well, I think your coach said it best. The offensive line is the only group in football that does not depend on anyone else. It's their job to hold the line. And I think we witnessed it the past couple of Super Bowls. Look at the defensive line when it comes to Super Bowls, and look how they run it. The defensive line position now, to me, is becoming the next lucrative or diva position, because everybody wants to be a pass rusher. Everybody wants to stop the run. And so I think the line, they're getting more recognition. I know when I started my company, there was no lineman company in the Inland Empire that was dedicated for the big boys. Now I'm seeing the trend change, where now everyone wants a taste of the line. And so when you come here, you have to have, a good solid base. I heard it from that movie, The Blind Side. The first check you cash is for the mortgage. The second is for the insurance. And I think our offensive line is our insurance. And they're the ones that are going to make it to where we can run the ball, pass the ball, create turnovers, and just impose our will on that field.
Right. And we're talking about, again, we have ACA, we have Coach Lawrence, and then we have Warren and Luke with us, joining us on the Inland Empire Sports Report. And then talk to me a little bit. We talked about the offensive. Tell me a little bit, Warren and Luke, the DB. What do you guys like about and playing two ways? We got some Travis Hunter over here. So what is it like playing two ways? Is because you are exceptional receiver, does it make it a little bit easier for you as a DB? Because one thing I know, my friend who's a DB, he would always look at the receiver's feet. But are there little things like that you guys can learn and you can see and how to defend it because you play both?
Yeah, there's definitely things you can learn. I mean, nobody's perfect. And you just kind of pick up on it along the way, you know?
Yes. And how about you, Warren?
Just like as a receiver, we understand like where we have to go on our routes, like what spots we have to hit. Playing DB, we just kind of like knowing where a receiver has to go to make a certain move. It just helps being able to jump routes, get picks, and all that.
And when you see it coming, and you're talking about jumping routes, and that comes from film study. So when you put in the work, you do that film study, and let's say you do jump that route and you make a big play. Do you prefer doing that, or do you want to get a head topper for a touchdown? What would you prefer to do? Do you want to get a head topper on offense, or do you want to jump that route and get that pick?
Is it a pick six?
Yeah, it could be a pick six, either one, or
Yeah, probably pick six.
The pick six. And what about you, Luke?
Head top for sure.
You like that head top? Like you're right, Coach Lawrence. He's got that dog in him, and he wants to get up there and make a play. So that's exciting. You know, I'll ask you guys. I always ask this: what are your goals for this season? And we could start off with Warren. What are your goals this season in the Cottonwood League?
My main goal, I want to win the league. I want to, you know, as Coach Lawrence says, beat the brakes off everybody. I want to show them that we're here and we're here to stay. That, you know, we had a rough year last year, but that doesn't show who we are this year.
Yeah, you're still young. You were a freshman. You were a freshman playing varsity. That is a tremendous accomplishment. And then how about you, Luke?
I want to be able to prove everyone wrong. I mean, we're going into this league and everyone's going to think like we're not very good, but I want to go in there and I just want to beat everyone and just like prove everyone wrong to the best of our ability.
You know, one thing I was going to say, Coach, is they're talking about team goals, and what we're trying to show them now is, I tell them it's good to have individual goals. Like, I love what they're saying. Like, I know they want double-digit touchdowns. I know they do. I know they want, you know, over 1,000 yards. You know, it can be done. You just got to dominate in practice. But I love the fact that they want to, you know, win as a team. But you got to have some superstars out there as well. And so they're learning that. I can see now they're being proper. But you got to come for practice one day, and you'll see it's a totally different tone out there.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because my buddy, when my wife and I bought this station, my buddy helped me through the loan process, and that's what he does. And he said every great athlete has a little arrogance in them. And you've got to have it if you want to get to that level and you want to get there. Now, I know you say you're going to run the 4-2-5 on the offense. On defense, what are we looking at on the offensive side? Do you know what you're going to run on that side yet? Or are you going to wait to hit them as we get closer?
I know my OC might be upset if I say what we're going to do.
Okay.
I can't say that. I call the defense. Yeah, he's going to call the offense. So I'll let him tell you that when you come. But I can't expose it yet. Yeah. So for the actual season itself, I mean, this team went 1-9, and they could have easily flipped it. I'm seeing talent out there that did not deserve that record, and so my number one goal is we want to win the preseason. And we want to win league. And so when we do that, that's fine. Now, as far as statistically, I've seen it done on both sides. At Western this past year, you know, we averaged 300 yards a game, and I want to do that. The year prior, you know, Jared Doolittle, we had 4,000 yards passing with 3 receivers with 1,000 yards apiece. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be the greatest show on turf out here, but I want to resemble those. I want to pound the rock and get 250 every game. I want to throw the ball and get another 250 if that's possible on certain days. But ultimately, we want to win. And I like grimy wins. I like it's stressful when you're calling the shots and you're watching that clock go down and you finally score to win the game. But that's football. That's what we grew up winning. 3 seconds left in the game, quarterback takes a shot, throws it upfield, touchdown. Like, who doesn't dream of those last minute or last second wins? So I don't mind that. I just want to win with some purpose. I want these boys to believe that they can win. I want them to know that the past is the past. I don't care for past regimes. The regime that we're in now is what they're going to make it. It can be dominant, or we can fall flat on our face. It's going to be up to them. But I definitely going to win the preseason, and then I want to dominate the league. I don't want to just win it. I want to dominate it.
And that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about, Coach, the mindset, right? Mike Tyson always had this quote. He said he would beat people before they got into the ring because it was mental, and it's that mental thing. What does that look like for you, Coach? You have to change someone's mentality. Like, and with the Buffalo Bills, when they went to the Super Bowl 3-4 years in a row, by the time they got down, they'd already lost in their mind. What does that process look like, Coach, to say, yes, we were 1-9 last year, but we're not going to be 1-9 this year?
I think that falls on me. I know the influence that a coaching staff can have. I know that how I carry myself is going to fuel them. There's not a coach standing across the field that I'm intimidated of. There's not a player that draws fear out of me. And I'm not going to allow the boys to resemble something that is not taught. And so we teach that if you strap up and you're wearing a different jersey, you're getting cracked. And we're going to play together. The offensive line is going to pick up the ball carrier. The offensive line is going to pick up the quarterback. We're going to do things as a unit. And I think once they see that and how we do practice, and how we carry ourselves on pregame and how we're out there on the field stretching, all that stuff, it builds and it adds to it. And so I'm not intimidated of this season by any means. I'm secure in who I am and what I'm doing. My legacy is complete. I'm good. So I'm not trying to do this and live vicariously through them. I'm trying to get them on the map so they can provide for their family, so they can make I know we don't do the last names in high school anymore, but the last name that you carry, it means something. And we want it to be proud, want them to run with it. And the name on the front of our jersey, we take honor in that. And so that's the way I carry myself. I try to pour that into everybody that knows who I am. And so that's what I plan on pouring into them as well.
And that's awesome. And I know you're a man of faith, Coach. You were at Western Christian, now you're at ACA. How does that faith help guide you? Because I know everything at ACA is a purpose when it ties back to the Christianity. And how does that purpose help you in leading these young men with faith?
The Bible says, whatever you do, do it unto the Lord. And so I don't have to sit there and ask God for a foolproof plan, because then there would be no faith. And so I'm trying to teach them, love God, love people, and find your purpose. Once you do that, everything else is grand and golden. Now, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my walk with God. I would be either in jail, in the grave, or on the streets. I don't come from a lineage where, I was the first actual person to walk through marriage the proper way. And no knock to anybody else in the past, but it was never taught to me. My father passed when I was 4. I never had a male to look up to. So God was the father to the fatherless. God was someone that came to me. And Christ is the one that I gave my life to, because when I got done with football, just like every other athlete, you don't know what's next. You give your heart to a sport, you don't know who you are. And I will not allow that to happen again to people that I know. Even to my boys that play in the league now that I talk to. When it's all said and done, that's not your identity. This is who you are. God created you to be. So that's carried me everywhere. I've been unapologetic about it. I also haven't beat everybody down with it. I can love everybody. I can preach the gospel, still be a human being, and still love people, and be dominant on that football field. And so if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for God, they wouldn't have a proper leader. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be wearing this ring right now. It's all of it is for His glory. So
awesome, Coach. We appreciate that message, and I love that, man of faith, and you're leading by your faith with these young men. I can't wait to see what you guys do this year in the Cottonwood League. Once again, in the league, you have Webb, you have Western Christian, Vasquez, Riverside Prep, Notre Dame, and of course Arrowhead Christian Academy, known as ACA. I'm looking forward to it. And the minute I saw on social media that you got it, and I know you said you prayed for a head coaching position, and the minute you got it, because I've known you for a couple of years, I wanted to reach out to you and share this good news to the masses. So I appreciate you taking some time to speak with us and sit down with us, Coach. This is absolutely awesome.
We're excited, man. Look, we're honored. And anytime you guys have an open door for us, any game, any practice, you just let us know. You can come down anytime you want.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Coach. I will hold you to that. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, but I appreciate you doing that. This is the Inland Empire Sports Report. I'm your host, Coach B, and we're broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios. We're on Fox Sports 1270 AM, and as always, you can catch us on streaming on the iHeartRadio app.